Hi, I'm Sydney, and today I'm going to talk to you about Rival IQ, a powerful tool that helps you track and analyze social media performance. In Chapter 11, we covered topics like understanding key metrics, and we talked about the importance of tracking metrics like engagement rates, impressions, reach, conversions. Rival IQ, they provide all of the data points for you across all multiple social platforms. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whichever, and they really help marketers understand what matters most. We also talked about benchmarking social media performance. So Rival IQ, they actually specialize in competitive benchmarking, so they allow you to compare social media metrics with your competitors. Chapter 11 also talks about measuring content effectively, and Rival IQ, they actually help you track and assess content performance, showing which posts generate the most engagement or shares, optimizing content strategies. We also talked about the importance of using social media data to drive decision-making process. So if you use Rival IQ, you get real-time data and insights, enabling marketers to make informed decisions based on the performance. So Rival IQ is used to track social media performance by providing data on engagement, reach, and growth. It lets users compare their performance with competitors and see which content works best. This helps businesses improve their social media strategies and make better decisions based on the data. Who uses Rival IQ? So Rival IQ is used by marketers, social media managers, agencies, brands, organizations, and Rival IQ claims businesses of all sizes who wants to track their social media performance with competitors, analyze trends, and or optimize their content strategies. So, Rival IQ claims that for anyone looking to improve, but throughout this PowerPoint, I think you will see that Rival IQ is really for large businesses. So, how to use Rival IQ? So when you first go to Rival IQ, you can go to companies and you get to add your companies. I had already did this. I chose my focus company as Nike and the competitors as Adidas, Foot Lockers, New Balance, and Puma. You go to add company. So because of the plan I have, I can only add 5 companies. There are tiers of plans, which we will get into later. Once you have your companies, you can go to social and you can see all the different data. So you have data from TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or you can do a cross channel and it gives you a good idea of everything. So Nike at Glance, so the at Glance panel shows up to 4 metrics for your landscape focused company. So we have our audience, our post, our engagement, and our most engaging channel. If we scroll down, we get to see Nike's top posts by channel. So we can see their top Instagram post, their top tweet, top TikTok video, and top YouTube post. If you know about women's basketball, college women's basketball, you know that UConn just won the Natty, and that's why you see Paige Beckers. She is one of the starters, and it's her last year. So that was really nice that she could go out with a win and that she's here on Nike. We get to see her. So if you scroll down, you guys get to see a little bit more detail of the reports. So this is a cross-channel activity, and it lets you know, hey, Nike's posting frequency is below average. Nike's below average for total engagement, ranking second of 5 companies. There's more work to do here. So if this is your job to do Nike social media, you could see why these would be really helpful to you to be really good feedback on what to do. If you want more, so it says the most engaging channel is Instagram. So if we go to their Instagram, you can see their top Instagram post. And then you get to see the followers. So you can kind of see the competitors, how Nike's leading a little bit, and then Nike's Instagram engagement. If you go to, I'm going to go to cross channel so we can see all of the social media platforms. If you go to leaderboard, you get to see your competitors that you plugged in. And again, you see Nike's leading. But imagine if you had a small business, like just a local coffee shop, and you plugged them in with other small local coffee shops, you might not get as much data as you're seeing here. And so we have all of these different graphs that just kind of help us understand the data, which is really nice because this kind of goes along with the last assignment that we just did when we had to find our own graphs and plug them in. You can get reports back. So there's different reports that you can go in and you can get them emailed to you. And then you can actually customize your dashboard. But again, this different plans have different tiers. So if you're on the basic tier, you don't get much customization. But if you have a higher plan, you would really get to customize it in a way that benefits you. So this is all that the data that we have here. And as you can see, it is a lot of data. So we'll keep that in mind for what I'm going to talk about later, all of this data. So now you know how to use Rival IQ. So the target market. Who is Rival IQ's target market? So retail, food industry, e-commerce, agencies, hospitality, and travel. These are all people who Rival IQ is targeting. So these industries use Rival IQ to monitor customer engagement, spot trends. They track their market position, evaluate campaign performances, assess content effectiveness, engage with their audience, and they really get to see how they can remain relevant in a competitive landscape. What do users expect? So, as I mentioned earlier, that you are paying for this service. So, if you are paying for a service and you are relying on this to give you data about how you can improve, then you want that data to be accurate. You want competitor comparison. That's the whole gist of Rival IQ. Rival IQ is that you're able to put in your competitors and see what is Puma, Adidas, whoever doing on their social media platforms and how is it different than you. So we need Rival IQ to track and compare. We also need it to be user friendly, which they claim to be, which I think they are, and content insights. So we want to know which content performs best. And as you remember, it was able to show us which post did best on Instagram, TikTok, whichever, and then the customized reports. So we want custom tailored reports for us. But as I mentioned earlier, it's on a plan subscription. So if you have the higher tier, you will get the best report. User benefits. So Rival IQ, it automates data collection and reporting. It saves you time because this is telling you, oh, hey, this is what post did the best without you having to actually go to those platforms and finding the post with the most likes and then going to competitors and doing the same thing. So it saves you so much time and it gives you real-time insights. With that said, users can also track and analyze which types of content drive the most engagement. They do that for you. So, data-driven insights, they provide detailed reports, enabling users to make informed decisions about their social media strategies. So, competitive benchmarking is a user benefit because we're able to compare social media performances with competitors. As we read in chapter 11 and we talked about earlier, this really helps for identifying your strengths and weaknesses. So the overall marketing purpose of Rival IQ is to help businesses enhance their social media marketing by providing detailed insights into performance and trends. It allows brands to track key metrics, compare their results with competitors, and overall refine the content strategies. The goal is to boost brand awareness, improve engagement, and drive better outcomes. What are the marketing risks of Rival IQ? Data overload. That's why I mentioned when I was going through Rival IQ, all of the data. I really wanted you, and that's why I scrolled through because I really wanted you to see all the data that you're getting. Sometimes that might be too much for someone. And I think most importantly, you have to remember that this data may not always be fully accurate for you because it's based on public social media activity and at the end of the day, um, competitors may have different strategies and goals and audiences. So the data could be misleading to your brand. And cost for smaller businesses. So Rival IQ can be expensive, making it less affordable for smaller businesses with tight budgets. So here are some of the successful sample campaigns that were actually ran on Rival IQ. So Coca-Cola used Rival IQ when they did Share a Coke. You may remember that they had the names on the bottle of the soda, but more recently, I they did it again, share a Coke, but it was a little different. So I actually saw this when I was on a United Airlines flight. The napkin that I received with the soda said share a Coke, and pretty much on the napkin, Coca-Cola had wrote out instructions for me to take a photo with this Coke and post it on social media and put hashtag share a Coke. It was super cute. Um, that campaign, it increased brand visibility, customer engagement, and you remember everyone was going to the store trying to find a bottle with their name on it, which was super cute. Second, a successful sample campaign was the Alliance Credit Union social media engagement campaign. So they monitored their social media performance, and they really wanted to refine their content strategy to see which posts were more engaging because overall, their campaign, they really wanted to boost their engagement on social media. I chose this because they're a credit union. That's going to be harder to boost their engagement over Coca-Cola because most of everyone would drink the Coca-Cola without saying no, without even thinking about it. People are going to think about saying yes to that credit union, right? Because it's a credit union. So the fact that they were able to see a 300% increase in social media engagement, I think is really telling. And the success of this campaign highlighted how you really can use social media data to lead a stronger online presence. That's all they did. They went in and they used Rival IQ to see which content did best, and they just made more of that content. So here's failed sample campaign. So I'm sure we all remember Pepsi Live for Now with Kendall Jenner. That was really unfortunate for her. I don't think Kendall Jenner knew that this was going to happen, but overall, the campaign did not sit well with the people. It got a lot of backlash, and Pepsi immediately pulled the ad and send out apologies. But I think the biggest thing that we can take from this is that brands must be mindful of social context, and we must ensure that the campaigns align with their audience values. You can look at the Pepsi commercial and you can be like, oh, it's no big deal, or oh, wow, that's really tone deaf, which it was, right? And I don't know how anyone did see that, but it was just a really overall unfortunate situation. But I think that a lot can be learned from it. So, as I mentioned before, Rival IQ is a subscription-based model. So that means it's not for everyone. Nike can go in it and pay this amount of money and get a lot of data from it. You know, Whoever's at the local coffee shop going in, paying their small fee, they may not get that much data from it and it may not benefit them. So, you get what you pay for. So, since Rival IQ is a paid service, users expect a high level of functionality. That's why a small business may not gain much from this. Um, but however, if you are paying that hefty bill, you get detailed reports and real-time performance tracking, which is really nice. Users who opt for these higher plans, they do have access to advanced features. They have custom reporting. You can actually go in, you can put as many brands as you want, and you can custom your report to what you want. And that gives you a lot of flexibility with your brand. So because we're paying for this, um, again, as I keep mentioning smaller businesses, they just may not find it like worth it. So recommendations for using Rival IQ. So I think that this is great for tracking social media performance, optimizing your content, and staying ahead of competitors. Again, as I said, Rival IQ will work really well for medium to large businesses with a strong social media presence. I think that Rival IQ works best for someone who already has that social media presence because that's what the data is off of the engagement. If you're just starting out with your social media, I would wait until your profile is a little more engaging to use this platform and put the money elsewhere until you get to that level. Again, it's not ideal for small businesses, just due to cost. And if you have to have the engagement there for Rival IQ to work, right? I think that overall Rival IQ could be more affordable because I'm sure that there are small businesses out there who do have a lot of engagement, but maybe they just like can't fit that in their budget. And I think that we should probably offer, smaller plans for well, cheaper plans for smaller businesses. But overall, I think Rival IQ is really good. And if I had a large budget and I had a strong social media presence, I think I would use Rival IQ. All right, guys. Well, let me know if you were in charge of a social media with a strong social media presence and you had the budget, would you use Rival IQ? I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, and I've enjoyed listening to everyone else's presentation. So if you have any questions, just drop them down in the chat. All right, bye.